Have you ever been working with certain typefaces in your layout and noticed that for some reason the numbers just don't line up? Some are up really high, some are down really low, some are smaller than all the rest. It just looks really weird when you look at it. There's a big company that I drive by all the time, and for their wayfinding signs all across their business campus, all the numbers are like this. And it just drives me bonkers. Just seeing the numbers all over like that. Well, today I'm going to walk you through why that happens and how to fix it. So to start out, what actually is this? This is a feature in some typefaces called Oldstyle Figures. This way of formatting text helps the numbers blend in a little bit better with body copy. But when you take those same numbers and those same characters and translate them into headlines and subheads and pull quotes instead of body copy, that's when things really start to stand out and look strange. Something that before was meant to help it blend in now becomes a distraction. Now today we're going to start here in Adobe InDesign since that's where a lot of these layout concerns come up. But I'll walk you through how it works in Illustrator and Photoshop a little bit later, and you'll want to stick around because the method in those programs can be a little bit different. But let's start here. So in this example up at the top, you can see what I'm talking about. You can see that the numbers are all over the place. The 2 is roughly the same size as the X height, the 8 is the same size as the ascenders or the cap height, and then the 5 and the 9 are roughly lined up with the descenders. So how do we fix this? There's actually a few different ways. Here I've got some examples set up using different typefaces. We've got Nutraface, Zillislab, Georgia, and Garamond. And I'll show you how each of these works a little bit differently. And then you can apply one of these fixes to whichever typeface you're working with. So let's start with Nutraface. This one's easy. All you have to do is select the numbers, and then we'll go over to our Properties tab. And if you don't have this open, you can go to Window, Properties to bring this up. Now under Character, we're going to push this button for all caps. And just like that, now all of our numbers line up with our cap height or ascender line, which looks much better if you're using this as a display typeface. Now Zillislab, same thing. Let's select those numbers. And then again, over under our Character section, we'll click this All Caps button. And once again, immediately levels out our text. Next, let's check out Georgia. Let's try the same method. Let's select the numbers here, and then let's click on the All Caps button, and nothing happened. This time it didn't fix our numbers. That's because this typeface is built a little bit differently. So since that didn't work, I'll show you a workaround that does. Still under our Characters section, we have this button labeled Open Type. And if we click on that, down at the bottom we can see that it's currently set to default figure style, which defaults us to those old style figures. But if we change that to proportional lining, then those numbers line up again. So it's a little bit different of a method, but it still gets you to the same end result. Next, let's check out Garamond. So once again, we'll select those numbers. Now Garamond by default should show the numbers the way that we wanted them to appear. But if we click again on this Open Type menu, we can see that somehow it got switched to proportional old style. So if we switch that back to proportional lining, those numbers go back to the way we wanted them, super quick. So just like that, we can see that all of those numbers now appear the way that we want for headlines, subheads, and pull quotes. So that works great in Adobe InDesign. But what about Illustrator and Photoshop? Let's take a look. Here we have a couple of those same fonts pulled over into Illustrator. So let's try those same methods. So first we can highlight those numbers in our Nutraface example. And then once again, we'll go over to Properties. Then under Character, we're going to click on these 3 dots to bring up the rest of our menu. And we're going to click on that All Caps button, same as it was before. And there you go, that worked perfectly, just like it did in InDesign. Then down here we have our Zillislab example. Let's do the same thing. We'll highlight those numbers. And then go back over to our Character section and click on those 3 dots and then click on the All Caps button. And this time nothing happened. This solution did fix Zillislab over in InDesign, but now it's not fixing it in Illustrator. So let's try the Open Type menu. To bring that up, we can go up to Window, Type, Open Type. We can see that that's currently set to default figure. So if we switch that over to proportional lining, we can see that it still didn't fix it. So that's strike 2. There's just something about how this typefaces work in Illustrator that just does not work the same way as in InDesign, but we can still fix it. So let's close out of that. And now if we highlight this too, now we can see that these glyphs showed up beneath our text. This shows us different options for the character that we have highlighted. So if we click on this second option, now we get the number that we want. So we can do the same thing with the 5 and to the 9. So it's a little bit more complicated in Illustrator, but we can still get the job done. But how about Photoshop? Let's check it out. So over here in Photoshop, we'll try the same methods. First, we'll select all of the numbers. And then over here in our Properties panel, we'll click on the All Caps button. And just like before, Neutraface switched over correctly every time. Easiest of the bunch. Now ZillaSlab, let's check that same method. So once again, we'll select the numbers here, and then we'll click on the All Caps button. And again, ZillaSlab is acting a little bit funky. So let's try these other type options. So down under Figure, we have everything set to default figure. And if we try proportional aligning, still not doing the trick. So now we're going to have to choose yet another option for solving this problem. So let's go ahead and highlight our 2 again. And we can see this time no menu showed up. But if we go up to Window, Glyphs, we can pull up our Glyphs menu. Now we can see all of the glyphs that are available for our typeface. So we can look through these numbers until we find the one we want. So this larger 2, and then we can double click on that. So now we have our larger number and the type is back to where we want it. So now we can do the same thing with the 5. We'll highlight that and then scroll down until we find the right character, which is this larger set of numbers. Double click on the 5, that shows right up. And then same thing with the 9. Highlight that, scroll through our characters, find the one we want, double click it. And there we go. Now we have everything just the way we want it. So you can see this fix works a little bit differently in each of the programs, but we have a number of options to fix this and make sure that they show up the way you want them to be seen. And now that you've mastered fixing these old style numbers, did you know that you can quickly and easily colorize old photos in Photoshop? I have a video right here to show you how.